Microsoft have added is, as Alistair mentioned, many of you have been using meetings. Everybody has more meetings than they require these days. And one of the features of meetings was to have a whiteboard. And you could have like a whiteboard session, much like you would in a meeting in person. But that only existed in the context of the meeting. What they've done now is they've added that ability in channels. So again, if I click on Add Tab, we have the Whiteboard app here. So we can say Whiteboard, let's add that. One tip I would give when adding whiteboards here is to give it a descriptive name. I think I'll show you why in just a second. But I think you've got to make sure that you give it a main team whiteboard, and we'll save that. And then anyone who comes into the general channel within this CCIT DT main team, they will have access to this whiteboard. You can, anybody can edit it by default. I'll show you why I suggested that you give it a descriptive name. So if I bring this across, you can access the whiteboard app from your Microsoft portal, your Office portal. So if you go to portal.office.com, this is, and you log in, this is where it will take you. If you can't see it down here, you can show all apps, and I can bring up the whiteboard app. And this will collate all of the whiteboards that you're a member of and all the channels and all the meetings. So you can see here that I'm a member of a whole load of whiteboard meetings, whiteboards from different channels, but they've all got the name that they're given here. So I think it's important to identify what is the right one that you want to use. So we can put in some text and say, oh, somebody's in. Is that Alistair?
It is.
So we can have text, or we can have Alistair writing hi, and it does become a real collaborative whiteboard session, as I said, much like you would have as an in-person meeting. And I think that, again, it might not be something that you would use every day, but it's another useful addition that Microsoft just keep adding week on week, another one. I think it's incredible. Sometimes it's quite overwhelming, the amount of things that they release, but I do think it's a much better way of working.